and welcome back to Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. And today is my Friday stream. As you guys know, I do have to start 30 minutes earlier because I have to go to work at 2 p.m. and I want enough time to get about an hour and a half streaming time in, while also leaving myself enough time to fix my lunch, go to the bus, XYZ, XYZ. This is my, I think, third week of work. I'm going into my fourth week, but like working in retail is not nice. It's not really that fun. And if I'm being completely honest, my patience has gone down, but this stream isn't about that. This stream is about my teaser trailer that I'm still going strong on, that I'm still working on. I am an animator first. Anything with retail comes second. To an extent, because I still have to make money. But as soon as I get an animation job, I'm going part-time or I'm just quitting. but anyway, I have been working on my teaser trailer for Witches 13. And for those of you who know or don't know, Witches 13 is a science fantasy revenge story that blends technology and magic. And one of the main themes about Witches 13 is human potential. So yeah, a bit stacked. Anyway, um right now I am redoing one of the character models I was animating because I got some of the proportions wrong. That is sadly one of the, I wouldn't say faults, but just things that can go awry when you're animating. Is sometimes you can forget, or rather not pay attention to certain sizing elements and things of that nature. So you'll end up with wonky character models or inconsistent sizing with certain things. And it becomes a bit of a pain to have to go back later and fix. But when you're doing something you love or when you're doing something you're good at, while it's saddening to have to go back, at the same time, it is fun to do what you love and do what you enjoy doing. Which is also why you have to make sure that when you are animating or doing something, you make sure you do it right the first time. Anyway, right now I am working on an elf character. And as I have told you, but I guess I'll just reiterate for those new to the channel or those new to watching my stream. Elves and other fantasy races exist in this world of Witches 13. Essentially, what happened was after the Cascade, this apocalyptic event, it caused a magical fallout, sort of like a nuclear fallout, where magic came back to the world, it revitalized the world, it caused deforestation to cease, it caused the polar caps to refreeze, and other very beneficial things because the environment was now supercharged by the existence of magic. And so what happened was, the reason why these different fantasy races exist is because the humans that couldn't reach safety, who were directly impacted, who had direct contact with the magic when it returned, it caused them also to sort of mass mutate and change. And so that is why Witches 13 has beastmen, elves, orcs, dwarves, different things like that. There is world building and logistical reasons, but at the same time, I just wanted to have I just wanted to have like beautiful elves and cute cat girls in my show. So don't judge me. I am what I am. Anyway, this has been a fun project to work on and sort of just spend my time doing whenever I have free time or whenever the mood sort of like strikes me. And so right now I'm working on one of the elves. And so in the world of Witches 13, elves are seen as how should I put it? Because magic now exists, the pure existence of magic has extended human lifespans. Like this takes place about 50 years in the future, so like 2050. So there's like a time skip, but essentially, even though they haven't figured it out yet, and even though no humans have reached that age, people live on average about 500 years. Like they can live 500 to 800 years, depending on how much they've honed their magical skill, like and their magical ability, depending on other factors as well. There are certainly those who can live either indefinitely or for like 1,000 years. With elves, though, it's like the elf race is more, I want to say, resilient, and they can live like a few years longer than regular humans and other races. What Because this is a show about human potential, what I don't want to do is have it to where like only the elves are good at magic. Excuse me. Like only the elves are good at magic or only the orcs can be physically strong. It's about potential. So anyone can do anything, and even though there are different races, it's like no race is better than another. Elves are more so elves because of their beauty, and they're more fair, soft, and almost androgynous features. And then orcs have their own differences as well. Like they look more rugged and rough than other races. So it's purely about aesthetics. Like because this world has gone through a sort of platinum age where there is a bunch of innovation, invention, different things like that. There has also been an increase in materialism, I would say. Like, I wouldn't go as far as to say it's like cyberpunk where sex is everywhere, but there is sort of an appreciation and a drawing, like a sort of pull towards the more exotic aspects. Like you're like if you go to a um what's the proper word for it? If you go to a brothel, like you're gonna see some people like spending time with elves and beastmen and beastkin, and you're gonna see like like there are even like brothels for orcs too. So it's like yeah, there's definitely more of a draw towards materialism and base human desires. And what I'm aiming for is not to have like moral, what's the word? This show isn't about like giving into moral lusts or moral desires. Obviously there is going to be like some themes of like there are going to be some themes of materialism, and there are things that are inherently bad and inherently villainous or awful. but it's more so a show about human potential and the acceptance that comes along with it. Like, I definitely think that this show has potential. And like, I'm doing this all on my own. Like, I've told friends, I've told, certain professors in the past, and like, I've just been working on this on my own. And honestly, this teaser trailer is going to take me some time. Am I sort of sad? I mean, yeah, I am sad because this is taking me a while and it's taking me some time. But I am making progress on it, and as I continue to stream, and as more followers and subscribers sort of take the time to watch my streams or rewatch my old streams and listen to me as I talk, like my project is slowly growing, which is what I love because who knows what can come about after that. Like maybe someone in the comments is going to say, "Hey, I want to help you with this. Hey, do you want to collab?" Or like, "Hey, if you need a writer, come to me." Like that would be really nice. That would honestly be awesome. I would love the different possibilities and the different things that can come about as I work on this because this is sort of hard for me and it's like it's when and what I've learned as I've applied to job after job is they want like 10 plus years of experience for entry level work and entry level jobs. And you can have a degree and you can have a portfolio and you can talk like you know the stuff, but even then that won't assure you the job. And the field is very competitive. Like I still have hope. My overarching goal and my overarching desire is to join a studio, save some money, then start my own studio here in Raleigh. Like Raleigh has an appreciation for art. It has an appreciation for different artistic media and fields. Like ABC 11 is centered in downtown Raleigh. They also have like Research Triangle Park, which is more on the manufacturing side. But I've also read that Raleigh, North Carolina is one of the top 3 cities to live right now. That's why, as I've gone around and as I've ridden around my city, there is so much construction. They are building so many different apartments and houses and different stuff like that, but they're not bringing industry or job here. And so you can have all these you can have all these places of residence, but they're gonna end up being empty places because there are no jobs here. There's no industry here for that. The most we have is Research Triangle Park, which is like I think I want to say like a few counties over from where I live. But like other than that, actual sustainable industry and jobs does not exist in Raleigh. It's more so just residential areas. Like Raleigh is a big residential city. So I do think that if I were to start my own studio, perhaps that can cause a shift because I mean, if I'm being completely honest, most of the creative and media industry is centered in Hollywood. It's centered in either Hollywood, I think Florida, or what's it called? It's Hollywood, Florida, and New York. And if I'm being completely honest, those cities, those areas are cesspools. Like I'm just gonna be honest. Those cities are cesspools. They have people that just have like one frame of mindset and like one central belief system, and like they talk about diversity. But if I'm being completely honest, I've seen a bunch of people like like I've known people in college, people in my personal life who are very creative, but on Instagram, I don't go on Twitter. On Instagram, YouTube, ArtStation, I've seen so many people who are creative and have these amazing ideas for shows or art, or who want to work on games, and they're still unemployed, or they're working like somewhere that's not even in their field. And it's really sad. Like these, like a lot of the Hollywood people and people like that, they're just like using it for like buzzwords, or they're going after like faux fake diversity. They don't really care. And that's the truth. I'm not a dang, I messed up his head. Like I'm not really a political person, but it's just something that I've sort of noticed over time, is that the people who talk about diversity, they don't have your best interest in heart, and they don't really care about diversity. They just want like likes and clicks on whatever social media they have. And honestly, that's why a lot of like TV shows and movies are so bad now, is because they're not producing quality content. They're just trying to pander to people, which is kind of horrible, and it's kind of like lazy. And keep in mind, like, I'm not making this show because I'm trying to break out, or I'm trying to like make a statement or make a point. Like, honestly, whoever likes my show, whoever clicks on the teaser trailer and afterwards they want to support or like crowdsource or crowdfund, then so be it. Like I'm not trying to make any statement with this show. Like, this is something I generally love doing and like genuinely have had interest in. Like, I've wanted to be an animator since I was really small. I wouldn't really go as far as to say like I want to be an animator, but excuse me, since a young age, I've sort of known, at least I've at least had some sort of concept or idea of what I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to go into the creative field. I knew I wanted to tell stories. Like, at first, I wanted to be a video game designer, and my mom was against it. She was very much against it, and then when I told my high school teacher, she said video game design is very competitive, and like I get so many kids nowadays who come in saying they want to design video games. And so that was when I really took a second to wait, stop, and really think about what I wanted to do. And I was like, okay, like this was like I want to say like 15 or 16-year-old me. So like 16-year-old Amobi is like sitting down in his room thinking, okay, I say I want to be a video game designer, but what does that actually mean? And then like I remember playing like Diamond and Pearl, Warframe, other games like that, and I took a second to realize I didn't want to make games. I simply wanted to tell stories. And so once I knew and refined what it is that drew me to video games, that was when I really stopped and took a look. And I said, I don't want to be a video game designer. What I really want to do is be an animator and tell stories. And that was that was during my high school years. So what do high schoolers do? They write fan fiction. And I'm not going to go into detail. Like, my fan fiction years were my cringe years. I won't talk about it much, but let's just say, like, okay, black kids can be edgy teenagers too. That's all I'm gonna say, and they can write some really cringe stuff. That's all you really need to that's all you need to know when I talk about fan fiction and my likes and desires. It looks like I have a call. I will be right back. Hello, hello. I am back. Can you all hear me? Yes, yes, you can. I am unmuted. So sometimes I like to double check and make sure. It was just a robot call. Like I got tired of talking to them, so I just hung up. And this face is looking a bit. That is better. So, for those of you who wonder why I'm doing this, I'm just getting a rough sketch of this character's head. Um, in the previous stream, like in a few previous streams when I was working on this character, I had drawn everything on one layer, and that really messed up my sizing consistency as well as my animation. It looked very rough, jagged, and all around messy. So I decided to go back and change some stuff, redo some stuff. It is now 10:30, so after the stream, I have to put my shoes on, grab my jacket, and I'll probably go to the bus stop at around 1:05. Oh, and I have to pack my lunch. That won't take me long. But anyway, I'm just letting my phone charge right now. I'm just doing like some random talking. You guys don't want to hear about my job life. You guys just want to like you guys are probably saying, "Dude, just shut up and draw." It's okay. I already know y'all. I know my audience. I know what y'all like. I got y'all. So let's see here. Okay, that actually looks a lot smoother and cleaner since I've gone back over it and I've like done some changes and stuff like that. It looks really good. So this character, I haven't really thought about his personal story. Like I just draw background characters to draw them, which is kind of bad because I spent like some time thinking about the characters that I want to put in the background. Like for this, I have like an elf, a regular human. There's like a wolfman that's supposed to be in the background, like somewhere in this area. Yeah, you see him right there. Just like a rough red outline. But anyway, like I don't know, like should each background character have their own backstory or story? Like that's what really gets me thinking because like I don't know. Like I don't know how deep other animators go whenever they're designing characters or whenever they're doing anything like that. I mean, I guess I could try. Like I guess I could like workshop something while I'm drawing him out. Like that'll give me, I don't know, further motivation to that'll give me like further motivation to work on him and do stuff like that. So, this elf, what is he doing? Where is he going? What is he walking to? Given he's wearing a jacket and t shirt, he's definitely on one of his off days. He's probably like a model. He's probably like a model or something. And he's just on one of his off days where he's walking to like a bakery or some small little shop in Neo, New York, because he's not really doing anything today. He seems more so like he would probably be. He definitely ride the bus. Like he may be a model because he's an elf, but he's still a fairly humble man, humble person. So he doesn't think in like owning vehicles. And that's one of the good things about this city, Neo New York, is after the advent of magic, essentially the infrastructure of the city was enhanced to where people could go from point A to point B without much hassle or without needing their own vehicle. Obviously, like cars still exist. Like there's a whole magic broom transit for like teenagers and young adults. Like instead of like instead of skateboards, people ride broomsticks now or like hoverboards and stuff like that. So but this character, his stature and build, he certainly uses like the magic bus to get from point A to point B. That would definitely be how he gets around. I definitely think that when he goes to the cafe, he's likely going to get something light, even though he could use magic to sort of keep himself thin. He'd rather just practice calorie management. Like that's one of the things in this world is you can use magic to look or be however you want to be, but that does drain your stamina and you are going to get tired. And for elves, they already look as though they are fair creatures, so they don't really need to do much. I mean, like they're not perfect, but they are inherently attractive creatures. I definitely think that because elves are so attractive and viewed as these objects of pleasure, he would definitely get like catcalled or looked at certain ways, which is probably why he's walking because he would rather not deal with whatever struggles that elves usually tend to deal with. He's likely just trying to have like a normal, good day without anything happening or without him getting into any trouble. Now, I didn't really get a chance to detail it because these are more so background characters, but essentially the I want to give Witches 13 and science fantasy in general its own sort of fashion because I do think that visual aesthetics like clothes and like other objects and styles of fashion like that, like how people wear their hair, is really the sort of subtle world building aspects that make a show and make a world come to life is what people wear, why they wear it, and how they wear it. So like what what I've tried to do is and you're going to see this in AO, the main character, as well as his sort of group, the Witches 13, is that they actually sort of represent sort of the fashion of science fantasy. And so I looked at, and so when I was designing characters and when I was designing certain characters, background, and main characters, I wanted to have sort of this mix of techwear, cyberpunk fashion, as well as sort of this modern fantasy fashion that exists. And so to really craft the fashion and visual aesthetic of science fantasy of this um world where magic and science intermingle together without being steampunk because steampunk fashion is very Victorian. It looks very it looks very Victorian and European. Whereas for this show, what I looked at is Y2K fashion, cyberpunk techwear fashion, as well as modern fantasy. And so I looked at I looked at fantasy, modern fantasy, and techwear, and I realized that those types of clothing have they have the commonality of being like loose, baggy clothing. Like loose, baggy, almost comfortable clothing. And techwear definitely has more utility. You see many pockets and straps and pouches on techwear. But I decided to go against the heavy emphasis on pockets, and I mostly focused on the bagginess that exists in techwear as well as fantasy clothing. Where Y2K comes in is the inciting incident, or rather the apocalypse, the apocalyptic event of the Cascade happened around the year 2000. And the year 2000 is known for that Y2K fashion era. And if you look at Y2K, they have a lot of form fitting, tight clothing that is somewhat revealing and accentuates the human form. So you're going to see like midriffs, exposed torsos or bellies. You're going to be seeing like apple bottom jeans, different things like that. Um, re- re- Exposed shoulders, revealed arms. So I wanted to have a combination of the more tight, revealing clothing with the bagginess. So on many of the characters, you're gonna see that they have one baggy article of clothing and then another article of clothing that's tight. So you might see characters with a tight shirt and baggy pants, or they might wear tight clothes, but then they have on like a baggy jacket or something like that. Different things like that. So that's really sort of the aesthetic that I am going for this. So then later on, if somebody wants to cosplay a character, it's gonna be fairly easy. Like you can like essentially I want people to be able to not just cosplay the characters, but also like wear these clothes out in the real world or like be able to make their own original character. That's really what I'm going for and what I'd like to see. And shit, I drew that on the freaking body page. Dang, that is so freaking dumb. You know what? I'll just select this. Okay, let me fix this and then I'm gonna go back and redraw this because that is dang, I'm upset. Like I drew all that on one layer. Now I gotta go back and fix it. It's fine, it's all good. Oh, I was talking about fashion. And so the reason why I chose to have that aesthetic of a baggy article and a tight or form fitting article is because I wanted to again, I want the clothing style to seem futuristic but not too far future. Like I want to have an aesthetic and a sort of feeling or atmosphere that this world this world that you're seeing is just around the corner. It's not like 100 years from now or 200 years from now or after we have space travel. What you see, the world that you see through this show is could literally be next year or 2 years from now or 3 years from now. Something that you can reach in your lifetime. And so of course there are gonna be certain elements and things that are fantastical and impossible. Like, I'm pretty sure we won't have floating cities or flying islands, but it still has that sort of otherworldliness and out of this world that is still fantasy. This is a science fantasy, which I believe is something beautiful and isn't done. Like you have sci-fi where it's 200, 300, 500 years from now, and then you have fantasy where magic doesn't exist. You can't cast a spell. But when you blend the two, it has the potential to be something that while wonderful and fantastical, it's still something that you can look forward to. You don't have to escape to science fantasy. Science fantasy is something that we can all work towards and all strive for. That's sort of the theme and the element that I want to push and what I want to have for this show is if we work hard enough, we can reach it. If we work hard enough, we can aspire to it. Cuz that's always the fun part is why why make videos or why make shows about, oh, this is so bad, this is terrible, like the world is ending, the world is going to crash and burn. Like it's hard to do this, it's hard to do that when you can make a show or make a world, make a property about hope and what can be accomplished. No good old days or we all need to be loving and accepting. Well, I mean, that second one is a good thing, but like you know what I'm trying to say. Like nothing so political or preachy. Just show the world that is show tomorrow. Show something that we can achieve and strive for a year from now or 2 years from now. Oh shit, I just realized I forgot to plug in my freaking okay, I forgot to plug in my what's it called? My LAN cable. And you know, I have bad luck to where sometimes my stream goes out. But if it goes out, just you know, I didn't abandon y'all, or I didn't just spontaneously end the stream. Like that's one of the things I fear. Like I was setting up my stream last night. I had OBS up. I had Animate up. Like I had everything prepared. I just forgot that darn LAN cable. So when I woke up and after I took my shower, I could get dressed, get ready for work, and then stream. Like, oh my gosh, what? I'm a freaking disaster. You see, this is why y'all subscribe to me because the moments like this where you can like laugh at me, like, ha ha, he's a disaster. Like his stream's gonna cut out, and then we're all gonna like laugh at him in the chat or laugh at him in comments. It's okay. I know how y'all are. Like shit, y'all are subscribed to me of all people. Like you could that's how I know I got some loyal and amazing subscribers because y'all subscribed to me of all people. Like y'all subscribed to me and I'm a freaking disaster. And I'm thankful for every single person that hits a like or hits subscribe or like rewatches my videos from time to time. Y'all are amazing. And like honestly, this is fun. Like I know I don't get to work on videos as much or edit as much, but this has just been so awesome and fun to do, especially when I have the time to do it. Like this is a nice feeling I have. Oh yeah, speaking of nice feeling, let me just talk about this show some more. Now I realized that as I work on this show, it can't just be about 13 people that are seeking revenge. Rather, because of the way, because of how the world works, even though the 13 are very powerful, very wise, and like know their stuff, it would, if I just had them working against the world and like doing all this stuff, it would slowly veer the show into more of a power fantasy or escapism. So I did, in fact, make other characters and make other side characters or like tertiary protagonists, stuff like that. So we have two characters. One is a beastkin. Her name is Prism. And I actually did like a quick piece of art of her. Like she was an investigator. Like this was like I think a couple months ago where I drew Neo New York, and I had like this character. She had like dragon antlers, and her hair would change colors, sort of like a prism. And she had like a katana. She was standing on like a piece of floating earth. It's like an old piece, and I don't think I ever finished it, or rather, I sort of got embarrassed of how bad it was, so I just stopped working on it. Like that's another thing I have to work on is being embarrassed of my rough art. But anyway, so she is an investigator. She is a cop, and so her her specialty, or rather the magic that she uses, is enhancement magic. So what she does is her hair changes color depending on how she is enhancing her strength or speed or resilience. And so she is investigating this string of what's it called? Shit, I might as well call it what it is. She's investigating a string of terroristic attacks. Like the witches, they're essentially terrorists. They're not attacking people, but they are attacking like businesses and certain companies and stuff that have a hand in their torment that they experience. So they're attacking, companies, stuff like that. And it's Prism's job to sort of investigate what's going on and why and who's behind it. And as the story progresses, she's going to learn that, oh, this isn't just one person, this is a group of people. And not just that, but these people have links and connections to the businesses and companies that are being attacked. And so her partner is sort of like this monkey character. He has like, yes, it's like a he's a beast man. He's a monkey version. So he has like a tail and everything like that. He's actually sort of inspired by Sun Wukong, like the Monkey King, like trickster god, has a big bow staff, things like that. And so her partner is sort of like this, is a bit of a trickster who also provokes her to think about what's going on. He acts as sort of like a foil to her, to where he's like, okay, why are these people doing this? Like, yeah, of course they're going against the law, but at the same time, like, what leads a person to wanting to hurt others? And I think you need to really sit back and think about this. We also have Father Jovial. He is a priest that Ao will meet from time to time. Like there will be certain scenes where Ao is at church and he goes to like confessional where he confesses to Father Jovial, like I've done this stuff, like I've hurt people, I've destroyed things, I'm still angry despite everything I've done. Like I still have this anger within me. And so Father Jovial sort of represents Ao's what Ao could have been, or rather, how do I put it? Father Jovial represents Ao's sort of spiritual side, but Jovial is also a spiritual being in and of himself. In this world, because magic is about perception, while some people do believe that magic is evil and that people shouldn't be using magic, for the most part, certain sects of religion has accepted magic, though they view magic as sort of God's gift. So they do use magic sparingly, and they also use magic to commit rituals and miracles for people. So they heal, or they purify water, or they perform baptisms, different things like that, purifications. Um, Spirits and demons are something that I'll go more in detail with and more in topic with at a later stream. But essentially, as people rise throughout their religion, in Jovial's case, Christianity, he has gone through certain phases of enlightenment. Father Jovial is not a beastkin, even though he has wings. So as he rose through the ranks of the clergy and through the church, he gained different levels of enlightenment, which caused his magic to purify. And over time, he grew wings up to the point where he has 3 pairs of wings, so like 6 wings. And so one of the design aesthetics I did with him is he wears the regular um minister priestly garb, but at the same time, his wings act as a sort of accessory, or rather, part of his outfit and clothing. So, like, so he has 1 pair of wings that act as his shawl, where he wears his wings around his shoulders. He has like another pair of wings that goes around his waist in the front, and then his second pair of wings just hang down like the coattails in a suit, in a tuxedo, because I didn't want him to have like these big clunky wings, and then that'd be like a terror to animate. It's just like his wings are part of his outfit, which sort of adds to his divinity. Like even though he has wings, he doesn't make a show of them. He wears his blessing on his, even though he wears his blessing on his sleeve, he's not showy with it. He's very humble, which is something that is sort of lost in this world, which is a sense of humility. And I think another one of the themes and one of the things that I want to put in this world is all of these characters either need humility or need to redefine their humility. And so we're gonna have these two characters, Ao and Jovial, meeting each other throughout the show, throughout the episodes, like maybe once every other episode, or like a quick small animated segment at the end of each episode where Ao is talking with Father Jovial and he's saying, like, I've plotted against XYZ, I've done XYZ, I'm still angry. And then Father Jovial tries to give him advice or tries to say, like, hey, you need to see this through, or through your actions, through your actions, you may heal. Just do not do something that is unforgivable. And that's going to be a big sort of plot point and sort of storytelling aspect once is once Ao has his time, once he is face to face with the person, the person who used to be his friend, who put him in the situation he's in now. Like, what is he going to do? Is he going to let him go? Is he going to torture him? Is he going to outright kill him? Like, that's gonna be a big question that is gonna play throughout the story. Is what is Ao going to do? Because Ao has gotten all these people together and said, "Hey, you've been hurt. I can help you." Like, I'm after the same thing. I want those people to feel what they put me through. That's why they're attacking companies. That's why they're sort of disenfranchising them and ruining their names, or like attacking their power plants and supply chains, is because they want to tear down those who tore them down. Because with Ao's backstory, and you can look at it, like, I've worked on Ao specifically for a couple months now. Like, I even wanted to make a sort of prequel mini comic. I just sort of fell out of it because I didn't like how bad my art was at the time. So I just said, I'm gonna come back to this later. I might actually pick the comic back up. But essentially, Ao was a scientist and he worked for a company. I forgot the company's name. It might have been like the Jonah Foundation or something like that, or Project something. Like, I'll have to look over my notes because there's like a lot of stuff I'm remembering and trying to call upon. But essentially, um, Ao used to work for this company. His partner, his one of his friends who was a scientist with him, pushed Ao into an experimental rift, and it caused Ao to be put in this void or space between spaces where he was constantly torn apart, sewn back together, and it essentially destroyed him and his mind. And he suffered like hundreds of years of torture. Like, on his side, it was 100 years. On the other side, it was like maybe 10 years, or like even less than that. And so once Ao was finally able to get a hold of himself and weave the void in order to get out, he was completely scarred. And you're actually going to see in his design that there are certain aspects of his character, like his scarred arms and his red eye, and even areas and certain things under his clothes that will likely be revealed later on, where you are going to see the extent of his torture and what he went through. And there's also going to be a big reveal later on that is really going to hammer home that Ao is a damaged and hurt being. That there are some things that he may never get back. But the torture that he went through and experienced, it's really like, is Ao justified? Like everything he went through, everything he's lost, the pain that he experienced, is it okay for him to get rid of the man that did it to him? Or would it be best for him to torture the man like he was tortured? Or should he go to the police, gather enough information and data to go to the police and build a case? Like it's very gray, because there are no true there is no true right answer. Morality is a gray thing in this series, because we can all say, like, oh, the right thing is to go to the police and put this man behind bars. But it's like, is that the right thing? Like, he can just be sitting comfy in a jail cell, whereas Ao has to live with what he went through forever. I have to go again. This is my mom calling me, so I'll be right back. Hello, everyone, and I am back. Just had a quick chat with my mom, and we were talking about work and how I'm doing, everything like that. She knows I stream. Like, she doesn't really watch my streams, but she's supportive, and that's a nice thing. That's a good thing. Like, it's good to have parents who support you, even if they may be a bit skeptical or they like look at you sideways. It's still nice to have that parent that supports you, and both of my parents support me, so that's pretty good. I was talking about Ao. Oh yes, Ao is that's gonna be a big thing about Ao's character. Is Ao is the main character. He's the lead, and his different associates and his teammates are going to be main characters as well, but they're also, but like, there will be moments where different leads will take the lead for the show. Like we have Dutch, he is a super soldier. He's actually going to be the lead for the pilot because he is one of, if not the newest member of the Witches 13 team, where his whole story is that he was a part of a sort of magical super soldier experiment trying to create super soldiers, and an accident left him barren, so he can't have any children. And that made him like very depressed. He left his fiance, and so he's seeking revenge to sort of get back because he can't, because he feels as though he is, less of a man and he can't provide and he can't have a happy or fulfilled life. Then you have Trina, and she is an alchemist. She's an alchemist. She is a chemist. She has like a master degree or like associate. No, not a master's degree. I'm thinking about something else. She has like a doctorate degree in chemistry as well as physics. And so she was a part of a corporation that was trying to, that she actually was a co-worker of Ao. And so her discovery as well was stolen from her. And now she seeks retribution and revenge. She wants to clear her name because she was just called like, oh yeah, that Trina, she's just crazy. Like she was essentially all of her, what's the word? Dang. You see, I talk too fast to where my brain can't catch up with the words I want to say. Um, the credit for her discovery and work was stolen from her, so she is seeking retribution for that. Then you have Nancy. He is a beastkin. He is a young boy whose parents were experimented on. And so he is seeking revenge for them because he essentially had to drop out of school to care for his parents because his parents were so unstable. So he had to drop out of school. He's had to fend for himself and take care of his parents. He runs like street performances where he uses illusions and magic to make money. You have another character. His name is, actually I haven't thought of a name for him, but he essentially acts as Ao's friend, where he doesn't really have a reason to seek revenge. He's just very loyal to Ao as well as the other members of Witches 13, so he is helping them. There is a pop star. She is trying to expose sort of what is going on, and she acts as sort of like a political figure where she is sharing magic with people, trying to teach them how to use magic using her performances and using her standing as a artist and as a musician to sort of expose the shady dealings and things that are going on in the underground. You have another young woman. She is looking for her sister. And so, what I really wanted to do with Witches 13 is 7 and 6 are big numbers and big factors in this world. There are 6 higher members and 7 lower members. So the six higher members are inspired by the six things God hates, and then the seven lower members are designed after the seven heavenly virtues. So really, these characters are inspired. So essentially, what it boils down to is the first six, the six highest ranking members of which is 13. They have a reason, they have a reason, or rather they are justified in their hatred, and they are justified in their revenge, whereas the seven lower members, it's more so like it's more so like they are acting, they don't really have a justified reason. They're sort of, their circumstances are self-imposed to them, and so that's going to be a sort of duality in their organization. Is you have justified hatred and justified retribution compared to self-imposed consequence, or self-imposed or self-imposed circumstance, which are very big factors, and it's definitely something that I would very much like to explore and sort of work out further, and concept and whatever it is, and yeah, just work on further. Like, it's certainly fun, and it's a very interesting concept that I've spent time thinking of. Sadly, I just I just don't have my notes up. Ooh, I hope I didn't break my. Yeah, I hit my desk with my pen, and it's not broken. It didn't snap or anything, so that's a good thing. But yeah, I'm just like waving my hands around, so I wasn't really concentrated. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is there's definitely a lot for me to workshop and sort of concept and mull over, because I have been taking my time with it, and I've sort of been just taking it one character at a time. Whereas I do think I need to look at the organization as a whole, because one of the big things is that the focal point is the organization, which is 13, this collective and group of people. It's not some found family. Of course, there may be like some kindness or some friendships that form in this group of people, this coalition of people, but I'm trying to veer away from that concept of a found family. These are people working together and who have found understanding with each other. The main reason why they're together is because they can't get what they want on their own. They can't get justice or retribution or what have you on their own. They have to work together. That's sort of the main theme and sort of thing of this show and of this world, is that yes, you have to work together with some people. You can't do things alone. And again, it comes back to that theme of human potential. Human potential is a big thing. And one of the things about human potential is working together and cooperation, not going on your own. I mean, I told you I've been thinking about this. Like, I've been working on this, thinking about this, like trying to get this to work. This is something I'm passionate about. A show I'm trying to make, a show I'm trying to do, trying to get support if I can. And overall, this has just been really fun to work on and share. And I'm glad for everyone who stops by and listens to these streams and tunes into me. Like this is nice. This is honestly very fun, and it's very fun to talk about this thing that I'm so passionate about. Like I love working on this. I look forward to my Tuesdays and Fridays. I look forward to these days where I can talk about my show and I can talk about this stuff and really everything. Because even though I may not be working in the industry now, like I'm still sort of getting myself ready for when my career starts. I was about to say something terrible like a real job. Like Walmart is a real retail. Re re you didn't hear what you didn't hear what you thought you heard. Retail. Retail is a real job. Retail is a real job. Retail is a real job. Y'all didn't hear what you thought you heard. Retail. Retail is a real job. What I'm trying to say is I'm just waiting for I'm waiting for my next step. Like my next step is coming soon and I'm excited for it. Anyway, I finished roughing out the head and sadly I won't have enough time to do the face or the hair or the eyes. So I guess we'll just call it here. Let me just look at this real quick. There's some sizing stuff like the chin switches from a point to like a line. I'll have to go back and fix that later. But for now, it definitely looks better and more clean than before. But yeah. Anyway, I guess I'm going to call the session here. Session like I'm playing D&D. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. This is yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. If you would like to, I have a buy me a coffee. So simply go in the link down below and buy me a coffee if you want to. I don't force you guys to do anything. You guys do it of your own free volition. You can even dislike my stuff if you want to. Just if you liked it this time, like it. If you didn't like it, hey, I can't stop you from disliking it. But anyway, yeah, just like, comment, subscribe, share if you want to. And yeah, this has been remember. I don't have like a script for my outro. I just go by the letter of what I remember. Remember, I stream every Tuesday and Friday at around 10 o'clock. Sometimes there might be like a few minutes where I'm early or late. Don't worry about it. But yeah, this has been Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art, and I'll see you corner creeps later.